Hello, everybody. I'm Sandra Pally Sandini, Inner Dragon Transformation Specialist, Galactic Shaman, and the Dragon Ally. I am very, very excited to have my guest here, Dashka Gerritsen. She is part of our Spring Equinox gift giveaway. I will let you know a little bit about her, and then I've got some fun questions that I'd like to ask you, Dashka. But hello,
Oh,
really pleased that you're here. Thank you for being here. So, Dashka is a holistic and intuitive healer specializing in bioenergetics, the profound link between emotional well-being and physical health and vitality. Certified as a practitioner in many healing modalities, including healing touch program, HTCP, soul intelligence method, crystal light therapy, and a medical intuitive. With over 16 years of experience as a dedicated registered nurse in a hospital setting, Dashka has a solid understanding of the human body. She safely supports her clients to precisely identify the root cause of pain and restore balance to their body and energy system. Dashka helps to clear, cleanse, and heal so that you can live a full, healthy, vibrant life. And in essence, Dashka helps people to feel good in their body, heal, and thrive. So, hello.
oh, thank you for having me.
For sure. What I really want to share with everybody too is I've known Dashka for a number of years, for quite some time, and what I've really loved to witness is your growth for starters, your growth in the spiritual journey that you've had, but also to really recognizing. And this isn't any of the questions. I'm just bringing a little bit of knowledge of you and our background. Really watching how you've brought your spiritual practice and your gifts, your modalities into the hospital setting and really recognizing how the two can coexist has been just really beautiful to witness. Did you want to just say a little bit about that?
Oh, thank you. It's nice to have those connections with patients about maybe what got them there in the first place, that they're in no need to be cared for, that they're unable to care for themselves, that they have to be hospitalized, and more than just the body parts and the Western medicine way of looking at a systematic approach to healing. And I'm trying to help them to connect their whole being and their whole awareness around whatever illness they may be um, trying to heal and get through at the time that I meet them when I'm caring for them. So it's just a little bit more time and presence and just being with them.
I love
Yeah.
that. I've got elderly parents, as many of us do, and you and I just before we went on camera said something along the lines of being the sandwich generation, about being between children and an older series of people. And what you offer people is huge because I think very few people actually take that time. So I am so appreciative of people like
Yeah.
yourself and
Yeah.
you, Dashka. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you ready to answer some questions?
Yes.
Okay. Honestly, it's going to be fun. So I have five different wheels. We'll ask five
Okay.
questions. Okay. So what's one small habit that has made a big impact on your life?
Oh, grounding before I get out of bed every day. Yeah. Dropping that anchor deep into the earth, setting my intention, setting my direction for the day. It just takes a couple, not even a couple minutes, maybe at the most, really like anchoring before, instead of just getting up out of bed and going, right, and starting my day. I thank my spiritual team, my council, source, spirit, drop my anchor in the earth star, deep in the earth, and just make sure that I'm really grounded and connected and clear with my intention for the day before my feet touch the floor, before I get out of bed. Setting intention for the day, directing my energy, that's absolutely made a big difference rather than just get up and go and start doing. Because that's when I noticed that I fumble and you're not on time and you drop things and you lost your car keys, and all those things can happen if you just get up and go. And
Uh,
so I've avoided that by connecting to source before I get out of bed.
I absolutely love that. For myself, I do mantras. I write out or say my mantras. And if I get to the middle of the day and I haven't done that, it's really apparent. Like I can really feel the energy of that. So I love that you're sharing this with people.
Yeah, I think you can definitely notice the difference.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Next question. If you had to pick a theme song for your life, what would it be?
Oh dear. I don't know. I'm not a great like artist or song titles, but something definitely something uplifting and joyful, right? I want to bring in that joy and celebration rather than anything else. Happy Day, probably. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Do you want to know what mine is?
Yeah,
And it's so
I
funny because
totally do.
every time every time this question is asked of me, I think people must think I'm egotistical. My favorite uplift song is "Applause, Applause" by Lady Gaga.
Love it. Oh, good. Good. Yes.
I am. I celebrate
Yes.
me. I choose to celebrate me in the moment, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Okay, so next question. What's a hobby or interest that surprises people when they find out?
Um, I guess like yarn work, knitting, crochet. I don't know why it surprises people, but maybe um but it does that I've made some fun things and I like to keep my hands busy. Um, I have a very hard time to sit and watch a show with like just sitting. So, if I'm doing something, then I can make it through a movie, that kind of thing, right? So, I'm crocheting a lot. My daughter and I have made several frogs, and then she made a little frog band with instruments out of all the frogs. It's very cute. Um, yeah, I think that's it. And then um, gymnastics I did when I was younger, and I still love to watch other people and can still do a cartwheel, so that makes me happy.
I love that. Two things. First of all, I'm a big knitter. I haven't knit in probably the last year, but I am a big knitter. I really love knitting. I'll knit sweaters, and I can totally get where you're coming from when you say, you can't necessarily sit down in front of a TV and watch a show because it feels like we need to be doing something, doesn't it?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. And
Or I'll get up and walk away. I'm like, no, just sit. So
exactly.
keeping my hands is nice.
I love it. And my granddaughter did a whole bunch of cartwheels for me yesterday. I got to watch her do cartwheels, so I could feel the energy of in
Fun.
that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
The next question, if you could give the world one message, what would it be?
Love yourself, right? There is more than enough love to go around. It's not a pie, right? If you're loving yourself, you're not taking any love away from anybody else. And there's more, there's an infinite supply of love, and you deserve to have as much of it as you can possibly give yourself. So, learning to fall in love with myself is a huge game changer for me. And I think that's something that I like to help support people to discover for themselves as well.
I
Yeah.
want to share with you, Dashka, that probably back in 2023, I made the choice to start loving myself. That I loved me. I had no problem loving me, but I really recognized I wasn't loving myself. And when I made that decision, like you just said, that was a game changer. And I really recognize that in you, like the who you are, the energy you ripple now is so much more. I don't know, wouldn't necessarily say it's inviting, if it's more inviting. It feels more in alignment with who you truly are. is what I want to share with you. Like you're just this beautiful soul now who's so willing to give even more because you recognize your own power in loving yourself.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you for recognizing. It's like dropping that mask or that wall that who I thought I should be because I listened to other people and how they saw me rather than knowing my own inner power. So it's been a journey for sure, but it's amazing and you can't go back.
Yeah. You know,
Right?
I want to just expand on this just a little bit more before we go into the next question. I think what I really want people to understand is Dashka and I don't necessarily talk on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, or even a yearly basis. I think it's been a long time since we've actually talked, and maybe even in the last 4 years, we might have only touched base 2 or 3 times. And yet I can feel the significant difference in her energy because of her choice to love herself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody love yourself first.
Yeah. So I want that for other people, right? Like it's just so empowering and um it is beautiful.
Mm,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
the last question. Mm. What's your favorite way to unwind and relax?
Um, really it's probably sitting in silence. I don't have any, like I have to create silence in my life. I have to create the time and um there's lots of noise around me. So when I can slow down, it doesn't have to be silence per se, it's just being quiet with myself. If I have time to be alone with my thought, then I can drop in and connect with my spiritual counsel. That makes me feel connected, reassured, clear, confident, even if it's doing the dishes or folding laundry, it's doing those things without distraction of watching a show or listening to a podcast. It's really having that time to connect. And then if I want to stop the activity and really meditate and drop in, then I can do that. But and sometimes it's the same with knitting or crochet, depending on what I'm working with. If my hands is just having that alone and that time with my counsel to connect and hear my source and my guidance, right? Um, yeah, I just feel it drop in and shower on me.
I've,
Yeah.
I'm I'm hearing two things with what you're saying there, Dashka. One is the being in the moment, like when you
Hmm.
mentioned the dishes, and it's so fascinating to me. Like washing dishes seems to be a real outlet for a lot of people to recognize pivotal moments, which is really fascinating because of the water flow and being able to do tr what would be maybe considered a trivial human thing, yet it provides us with an opportunity to be in a space where we're letting different things occur. And then you also said too, is it while you're in that space, taking that moment, living in that moment, that you're actually connecting in from in a different dimension, different realm, if you will, different level, maybe some people use, but it's you're making the point of now connecting in or being in awareness, witnessing, if you will, right?
Right. Right. The other aspect of that I would say is water for me, right? Um, of course, it's the water element of being physically in the water, like a bath or a shower. Epsom salt baths are one of my favorite things to before going to bed because it does make me drowsy. Like it would be very difficult for me to get up and go do something after an Epsom salt bath. It's usually before bed. Um, but I live by a bay, so being close to the waves of the water, um, is also, just being close to the water, I think, or being actually in water.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So, you have an incredible offering. You're one of two people in this gift giveaway that is really offering people an opportunity to have a distance session, which is above and beyond. And I'm so grateful for this gift that you're offering. And that's the Chakra Biofield Assessment. Would you like to let us know a little bit about what that is, please?
So I just take a snapshot or a picture of your personal energy system at the time, at that moment, and we'll assess where your seven major chakras are. And as far as flow and connectivity, because I want them all to be open and flowing. The energy can flow from above through every single chakra down into the earth and vice versa, from the earth up through every single chakra up to the crown. And then beyond your point of individuation, all the way up to source, right? So we want that clear channel to be flow. So we'll see where there's congestion and where there's open chakras. And then I measure the field around our body, our aura. I call it the biofield. There are many layers that make up the biofield, but really what I'm doing in this is measuring the distance of how far and or close or far your field is away from your physical body. I think of the biofield as a part of us. It is an extension of us. We just cannot see it. But it moves with us. It goes through every single experience that we go through, right? And this field out here is where we hold all of our emotions, our thoughts. Those are all stored out here in our field. So I'm just measuring the distance. I measure uh, right and left, front and back, in front of you and behind you, and then above your crown and below your feet to see the distance around where your field is at this time. So when you're further out, when your field's pushed out, you may notice bumping into somebody, like say the grocery line, you're waiting in line for somebody who comes up behind you. If they're bumping up against your field, you can feel that. But if your field's right here and super close, then they can get really close, right? So sometimes we want to push that out further. So make that bubble more of a distance, more of a barrier. If things are close in, I notice when mine's close that things really bother me. I'm more irritable. When it's pushed out, things bounce off of me easier and I don't sweat the small stuff. Sometimes it feels so far to one side that you could really put a whole another you right here next to you, right? And that's when people feel beside themselves and they can't really decide one way or another because there's like a whole other you that would fit in this side of your field. So I like to just measure and give you a snapshot of where your field is now. So it's just an assessment. And then maybe we'll look at which, if one chakra is needing more attention than another at that time of your life, just bring kind of highlighting your root or whichever chakra is kind of speaking up at the time. So we'll talk about just the measurements and then the flow through each of your seven major chakras. Um, a short like snapshot, and then we'll email those back to participants who want to opt in.
I just love this. That feels so powerful. And I want to speak to the validity of this. I remember back, gosh, I guess it would probably be 15 years ago. And my mom had visited me and I was doing some energy work with her. And I do the same type of thing. I feel for the aura, the energy field, what you call the biofield. And literally there just wasn't. I was like just practically to her body. And that was how close she was in. And I was really saddened by that because I really recognized the emotional stress, the mental stress that she was under, and also the physical stress that her body was under. So this type of biofield assessment is massive. What happened with my mom is that she recognized something in future years, and she made a decision that was very proactive in her life. And after that, that biofield, that energy field, the aura, if you will, became definitely far more expansive. But with that as well came her willingness to do things for herself in other ways as well. So there's
Mm,
so much that we can play around with this. So I'm so thankful. I know I want to sign up for one of these. Thank you, Dashka.
you're welcome. It's really, I'm happy to do it, and thank you for the opportunity to work with more clients to have this awareness because I think it is a part of us. We just can't see it. And so people to recognize that um, the field is impactful and it impacts our health, right? Our physical health and vitality, but also our emotional balance and our mental clarity. Yeah.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Dashka, for taking a few minutes to come on and be one of the spotlights. And people, please do sign up for Dashka's Chakra and Biofield assessment. Thank you again, Dashka.
You're welcome. Thank you for the acknowledgement.